Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever this video finds you, I hope you're having a rad time. I'm the Figure Dude, and on today's Action Figure Showcase, we're going to take a look at all of my Macho Man Randy Savage figures. Without further ado, let's talk about some figures. Dude. Welcome back. Like I said, today we are looking at the Macho Man, and I have long wanted figures of Macho Man. I don't think Jakks made any. I'm pretty sure there was no deal with Jakks. Macho Man did not want anything to do with WWE during that time period, so he was never a guy I really had figures of. I think I had maybe one of his Toy Biz WCW figures, but I didn't even have those growing up, and I really didn't collect those a lot. I mostly just had Jakks and like their classic superstars line. There was a figure of his brother, Leaping Lanny Poffo or the Genius, but not Macho Man. So once I got into the Mattel line, once they were making a lot of Macho figures, and they made a lot while they had him under contract, I loved it. I picked up all of them that I really could get my hands on. I've talked before about how I was late into collecting the line. I didn't start buying them for a while. I was holding out. I was bitter that Jakks they had moved on from Jakks with WWE figures, so it took me a bit, but eventually I started picking up more Machos here and there. But this one is probably my favorite, if I'm being honest. I think the robe is beautiful. I love the robe. The head sculpt, I do think all of his head sculpts that have the true effects look much better. I think the beard just, I don't like how it's just super thick. Doesn't seem like there's a lot of texture to it. And you'll see with the other ones that do have true effects, I think those are much better looking. But this one fits the headband. The headband doesn't fit well on the like the smaller Macho Man heads, and with the glasses and everything, it's not a huge deal to me. So I did, obviously I've got the Miss Elizabeth here with him. I've got a few Miss Elizabeth figures, but this is a fix-up. So this was the, was this the Legends Macho Man? I think the Legends Macho Man was a lighter, like pinkish purple. I don't remember when we got this one. I think it was one of the exclusives at like Target or Walmart. But then I put the Ultimate Edition torso on because, like I said, this is probably my favorite look for Macho Man, with the pink tights, the yellow boots. He's got the long knee pads, which are accurate. I feel like that is what it should look like, but I know a lot of people don't like the articulation and everything, which is understandable. But he's got a little bit thicker legs. The Ultimate Edition torso, I think I just took from the Target exclusive. So it is a Macho Man torso, and then we've got a bunch of hands just from a few different figures I've picked up of Macho Man. So this really is like the definitive Macho Man for me. I'm like gonna kind of go in order. I'm gonna like take a look at like his tights looks and then his longer pants, and we'll just like go down the line. But that is the first Macho of the day. Next up, we have a couple different Machos. So the difference here, you can see they kind of changed his formula. So the pinkish purple, that was the Legends line I was talking about. And you can see on his beard, I was dremeling it so that it would fit better, and I accidentally nicked his beard. It was very disappointing because I love that head sculpt. I could probably just fill it in, paint it up a little bit. I just haven't gotten around to it. But the true effects, discounting this one where I caught his beard, looks so much better. The true effects head is on this one, and I don't remember he's got the darker hair there, so that might be from the Target exclusive, the NWO one. But the formula for the Legends one, they have the same torsos. These both have the single jointed arms, but the legs are different, and I'm glad they switched the legs on the other one. So I think that's the All-Stars figure. So those are like the Ultimate Warrior size legs. I'm pretty sure they're on the ratchet joints, and those things don't move at all. I'm scared to try to even move it. It's very like creaky, ratchety. It just doesn't move well. These ones do have the white tape underneath the knee pads, which I don't think, I guess the Ultimate did. I'm peeking at it here, and it did on the bottom, but it didn't come over the top of the knee pads the way these ones do. The All-Stars Macho, I don't remember if those were the knee pads that came on it, or if I swapped those on just to give them to give him that look, but I think that was from when he was in the title tournament at WrestleMania. Was that like, I can't remember which, the old WrestleManias I can't remember well. But again, I swapped out the heads. True Effects I like a lot more, and it's more of the same with the Machos here, just a small difference in the legs, but I feel like they've made his figures pretty well. I've been pretty happy with those, so there's just a couple more Machos and we're moving on. Next up are some of my like sleeper favorites in my collection here. We have the Mega Powers and Miss Elizabeth, and this was just a really cool set. They did some different things with Hulk and Macho Man actually. So obviously I've just got Hulk Hogan here because he's in it was a matching set. He does have the Mega Powers on the back of his tights, which is a little bit different than some other Hogans. On the Hogan, I'm pretty sure it's one of the few where they filled in the hair on the top of his head. I don't know how many other ones they did. Obviously, it's got the True Effects. It came with some different head sculpts where they're making their insane Mega Powers promo faces, and then it's got the molded hands of them shaking hands, which I thought was really cool. But I just couldn't have a Macho Man collection without having the Mega Powers pack, and then obviously the Miss Elizabeth. As soon as this was announced, I went straight to eBay and bought one. Without the Macho Man, I had no desire to pick up the Elizabeth and just have her and Hogan, and then they announced the Macho Man and I immediately picked it up before the secondary price took off too much. Those sat at my Walmart forever. But with the Macho Man, more of the same. A really nice robe. It's got the string up top, so it actually ties, and it's like big and loose, so it goes on well. It's easy to tie that one. Sometimes tying some of the robes we get, like Yokozuna or something, are a little more difficult, but this wasn't too bad. Probably just since it ties around the neck there, but it came with that title, and he's got the same hot dog tan as Hogan, which I thought was cool. Typically, I don't like when they change it up. Like for Hogan, there's a lot of different variations of his skin tone, which admittedly isn't totally inaccurate, but when we've got like mixing like different skin tones on figures of different era in the same era, like that kind of bothers me. But this instance, I don't mind it. They've got him matching Hogan to a T. Obviously he's got the yellow tights, the red knee pads and everything, and formula wise still the same. He does have the double jointed arms, which I think are a little bit bigger, so they're like the I know like the Mean Mark, like I think they're, I don't know if they're John Cena size arms, but they're bigger than like the smaller ones that we'd gotten on his Ultimate Edition. So some people might like that, some might not. I don't necessarily think of Macho Man as like a huge guy, but again, in this 2-pack with Hulk Hogan, I think it works, and I think it was a really rad 2-pack from Ringside Collectibles. I don't even know if you can get it anymore, but they're the Mega Powers. Moving on. And then the last tights version I have of Macho Man here is actually a custom. So this was from WrestleMania 5 when he fought Hogan for the title. And this one we got in a basic, so that's what I have. He's got basic feet, basic boots and calves, and the knee pads, like I said, I think they're accurate, but they do hinder articulation. So I just have the basic lowers on him, and there's not a lot of articulation to it, but like I'm not doing a lot of posing, and it works. So really all I had to do was paint up the tights on this one. I did use a different torso. It's the Sheamus torso in that tan skin tone, but I'm pretty sure these arms were from the basic. The head sculpt is my favorite head sculpt. We got it on the Elite in his attire from when he fought Ric Flair, and I think this is the best Randy head sculpt that we've gotten. I don't know if we've gotten it with True Effects, but I just think the hair, the expression, everything, like I think this is the best version that we've gotten. And obviously, like, Mattel's not putting out Macho Man figures right now, so maybe we will get it in the future. Hopefully it eventually comes back to Mattel, but this was just like an easy one to throw together for me. And I think the legs are from a Lex Luger, so still like that same Ultimate Warrior size, I'm pretty sure, but it does move a little bit better than that All-Stars version. So a pretty simple custom here. Painted the tights, put the decal on, and just use some existing Macho parts. But now it's time to move on to the Macho King. All right, so like I said, we're done with the tights look, so we've got the longer pants look, kind of that Macho King look. And I know he won the not the Royal Rumble, the King of the Ring, which is what kicked off the whole like Macho King thing, and he was a heel mostly. And I think he was managed by Sherry during that time. He had split off from Elizabeth. That was the whole story, obviously. But I wasn't watching then. Everything I know from the Golden Era is just like going back and watching the pay-per-views and seeing highlights as a kid. So I'm historically, I'm sure I'm gonna get some stuff wrong. One of the things with the long pants machos that doesn't necessarily bother me, but like it's inconsistent. Like first off is just the torso. So like the pink one here, I think that was a Royal Rumble set Macho, and I think it looks great. They use the same legs and boots and everything, and I think that looks good, but they use the shirt torso, which they only have like one, maybe two molds for. Like the Rey Mysterio one, they've got the like normal t-shirt torso, which I don't think would be accurate. But if you look at the torso that they use for his normal figures, and then you look at the ones with the shirt on, like clearly they're not the same build. And that's kind of being nitpicky, but that is one thing I wish they'd find a different way to do. Obviously they're not making Macho Man figures right now, so maybe it'd look different in the future if they get that back. I think I did swap heads with this one. I think I got this body in a loose lot, and then just like had the stuff to pop on there. So again, I'm always going to side with the True Effects. I think that looks the best. The Macho King figure was a Target exclusive, I'm pretty sure. And that's another thing, is that a lot of these should have like a jacket or a shirt. Like the New Generation Ultimate Edition had the shirt and had the jacket that he wore over it, which was very common when he had the longer pants. And we don't get that, and it's not the end of the world. It doesn't drive me completely nuts, but I wish we could at least get one or the other. But I guess technically it's just his ring look. But there were still, I'm pretty sure, plenty of matches where he had a shirt on the whole time, and they just like didn't give it to us because, I mean, you can't give us a soft goods Macho Man shirt every figure. I understand, but I'll take what I can get sometimes. So I still think like they nail it with Macho Man figures. The color, like the colors and everything always pop. Very toyetic, but a couple of Machos starting out this long tights look, and we've got better ones moving on. Next up, we have the WrestleMania exclusive, and then the Elite in gold. I think that's from WrestleMania when he fought Ric Flair, and I think that was WrestleMania. Nope, I don't remember. I don't remember which one. I always get them mixed up. I think it's WrestleMania 7 was his like retirement match he had against Ultimate Warrior. I think that's right. Outside of that, I'm pretty fuzzy on my Macho Man WrestleManias. I know that's when he fought Ric Flair, though. He wore that attire. So this is what I'm talking about. He had that shirt, and I'm pretty sure he came out with a jacket, but like took it off and threw it down on the ramp before he even got to the ring. So like that didn't bother me. The other one, I got this shirt from Threadhead. He had put it out when we got this Macho because he had that shirt, and I'm pretty sure wore it in the match, but we didn't get that in the Build-A-Figure wave. I think that might have been a Build-A-Figure Fink? I don't remember now offhand. But anyway, it's another one. Same formula. It's like the same old story. Formula for the legs, great. Same torso typically. This one did have the True Effects and the double jointed arms, and he's got those bigger arms like the Mega Powers one had, which I think are fine. I think they work. I don't know if I'd want the smaller arms on Macho necessarily, but it's kind of in line with these. Like you see that like Randy Orton will have like the bigger single jointed arms, and then when they switched to double jointed, they went back to skinny arms. So I think I'd prefer this for Macho. He was a big guy, maybe not big relative to like Hulk Hogan, but still obviously like big fit, whatnot. And these I think are they're good. I said I like the Macho Man formulas. This is my favorite head sculpt. I think this is the first time we'd gotten that one, but anytime I can pick up like a basic or something with that head sculpt, I have, and I think it's fantastic. And really, I need Macho's likeness to come back to WWE so I can keep getting those figures. But another couple Machos, moving on. So next up, we have another guest appearance from a shortly lived tag member of Macho Man here with Ultimate Warrior, and it's because they have the matching Ultimate Maniacs attires here, and these were figures I didn't know I needed until I saw both of them in figure form. So this Macho is in the normal elite line, and then it's like they didn't really have a plan for Ultimate Warrior. We ended up getting this in the Defining Moments line, and I think it sat around a lot. It was very easy to get, and I remember thinking like, this is kind of where like the Defining Moments line started taking a weird turn. This was not a defining moment. Maybe like just the idea of Macho and Ultimate Warrior teaming together was cool, but these guys, I'm pretty sure, were just like fighting Money Inc. and then fought them at Saturday Night Main Event and then teamed together, and like that was it. I'm pretty sure it was just like one match and it was done. But we did get the matching attires here, and I think it's really cool. The Ultimate Maniacs Macho, we got the hat, the shirt on him, and it's the softer rubber, so you can at least move him around a little bit compared to the gold attire here, where it's like the harder shirt. But then I did still use a knife to cut up the tassels a little bit to give him a little bit more range. And then again, same formula. I really like that they got the Ultimate Maniac's knee pad in there. And then the Ultimate Warrior, while it's one that I wouldn't have bought just by itself, it obviously, I think they look cool. I always love getting matching attires for guys. And while it wasn't a defining moment, in my opinion, it was still cool to get these guys together, to be able to put them on the shelf together. So not high on my list of loves for the Machos, but still a couple cool figures here. Moving on. Next up, these are both Ultimate Editions. So the black and white one, that is his WrestleMania 10 look when he fought Crush. He's got, this is what I was talking about, he's got the shirt underneath, the soft goods shirt, and it's a different material. I don't know if we've ever gotten other figures with this same material since, but it fits really well under the soft goods jacket, which I have hidden away somewhere, like in my bins here. But since he's got the shirt, I just have him posed without it so it doesn't mess it up. I think it's a beautiful figure. I love it. The formula for that Macho, I'm cool with the torso. Those are the smaller arms, which I think look good. I don't know if I love the bigger arms. I feel proportionally that works for Macho Man. He's got the double jointed the toes and arms, obviously. That has the True Effect sculpt, the darker hair, and then the other one was the entrance, or I don't remember if it, I think it was Defining Moments still. This might have been the first Defining Moments Macho that we got. But I didn't pick it up, and I wasn't going to. Like, I had picked it up, but it didn't have any of the accessories. So I had it, and then they were going to re-release it in the Ultimate Edition line, and then obviously that fell through when they lost the likeness license to Macho, and now that figure's just kind of in limbo. So I took another one of those Ultimate Edition Macho torsos, put it on mine. Obviously he's got the smaller arms, those fit in the jacket, and that jacket is pretty beat up, but it's more than good enough to just sit on the shelf until we hopefully eventually get the updated version of him. But right behind that first Ultimate Edition fix up I had, I think these two are fantastic figures. I mean, I know I fixed this one up, but not much. It's all Mattel's formula, so I'll give Mattel a little bit of credit there. But we've got a couple more. We've got another Ultimate Edition, and then it's almost time for WCW Macho. Next up, the Ultimate Edition here with Macho. I don't remember if it was specific anywhere. I think I picked it up at Walmart. I think it was just in the main line. But this was another Macho I was really excited for because it is reminiscent of the Hasbro Macho that we got. And I had that one as a kid. I didn't really collect Hasbros, but I do remember this Macho. And like the pants wise, I don't remember, but the jacket, the hat, and everything is what is very nostalgic to me. So that was one I was really excited about. I know a lot of people we're getting Macho fatigue, and that's fair. Same with Hogan, but Macho's figures are always so different that it never bothered me. The difference with this one is that underneath they have the molded shirt instead of the the rubber shirt that we'd seen on the other kind of cowboy machos here, so getting those pieces off. The other one, I think that was the Retro Fest Macho Man. I don't know when he wore that attire. Like I said, I'm pretty flaky on when Macho wore these specific attires, especially since he changed them so often. But I thought this was a really cool, a really cool way to do the Macho Man with the, like, he's got the butterfly joints, the tassels on the shoulders, and I think that that molded torso works pretty well. They've got like the little tassels on the side as well, which I guess you can kind of see in the rubber here. I need to slice these a little bit to get a little more movement, but again, I don't really have a lot of complaints about the Macho Man figures. I like this more. It's got a little more size to that upper torso, and I feel like that fits what I was talking about with his other figures, that he doesn't have a shirt or anything, but obviously you're not going to make every Macho Man an Ultimate Edition. So I think they did great with that one here. Feels like it's a little short. It could just be the torso. Like the Ultimates are always a little bit different like scale wise, and then they typically use like the same legs, so it's always give or take a little bit. But again, some good machos. Now it's just trying to move on to a trio of WCW. So these are going to be the last three I talk about today. I am missing a bunch of Macho Man figures. I would really like to get the chase of the Legends figure we got, which is in the yellow tights, like the all yellow tights, knee pads, boots. I'd like to get a custom of the cream of the crop promo look. I think we got a basic of that, but it's a basic. I don't love it. There's the WCW one with the more like updated look in the all black tights. I know there's more. I've got an eBay save search for Macho Man Elite figures. And then I am making a Bonesaw McGraw from the Spider-Man movie from the early 2000s. That's on the work in progress shelf. Just got to get around to it. But these here I think are awesome. I really liked the like, this was like my Slim Jim Macho Man before we got the actual Slim Jim Macho Man. I really liked that attire. I thought it was really cool looking. I liked the molded pants in there, which is the same mold they use for the New Generation Macho as well. Didn't mention that when I was going through. The head sculpt on that I'm not very fond of. That's what they had before they were using True Effects, and just like with customizing, a lot of it just comes down to the eyes, because like with the hat and sunglasses, like, yeah, I look at it and I see Macho, but I don't see it as much like in the likeness when he's not wearing the glasses, which is like, I'm always going to have him pose with those on. So the other ones, the True Effects ones, I think nail it. The NWO Macho, well, the black and white Macho was the Target exclusive, and the other one was a ringside exclusive, and that is the look that the Toy Biz figure had, I'm pretty sure. The one that I had back in the day. Like, when I think of WCW Macho, that's what I think of. I think that was the Wolfpack ringside exclusive, and it's just a great looking figure. I did give it the knee brace, and I gave him the gloves with the Undertaker, or maybe it's Kane, gauntlets and the black hands to really give him that like nostalgic look for me. And I did head swap him because he had the same head sculpt as the first Ultimate Edition, where it was a little bit bigger. It didn't have True Effects, and I wanted that updated look for him. So I just took one of these NWO, popped it over here. So the bandana doesn't really fit, it just kind of sits on there, but I still think all these look fantastic. The Madness shirt is from Threadhead. The other shirts we got were staining, so I picked up, actually might have had that one in my collection already, because I was going to make a WCW Macho, because when I started collecting the line, that NWO Macho Man was really hard to get. It was very high price on the secondary market, which is not now. So maybe people are anticipating that we'll get Macho back and we'll get that in the line, or maybe it's just because we got this Ultimate Edition from Target. But that is going to be all of the Machos I currently have in my collection. I've put this one off because I keep wanting to make more Macho Man customs and like pick up more of his figures, but I figured we're going to be picking up so many, making so many in the future here, that we'll just circle back around and do it again. I do want to get them all on the screen, kind of wrap it up, then we'll be out of here. Here we go. Here are all of the Macho Man figures I currently have, and I wanted to try to find a way that I could pose them all a little bit better, to just so we could like see them a little bit better in the picture. So I went and grabbed some scrap pieces of wood, put it all together, and I'm pretty happy with this outcome here, at least for today. I know I've got some more showcases. They're gonna have more figures, so like just this little tiny shelf isn't gonna work, but we'll figure it out as we go. I kind of put my 3 favorites in the front here. Like I said, I really like that new generation one, but the Macho Madness one from the Wolfpack one's very nostalgic, and then the other 2 I'm just very fond of with the soft goods, making those ultimate editions and everything. But I really don't think you can go wrong with a Macho Man figure. So that is gonna wrap everything up today. If you stuck around, I appreciate it. Please continue to like, share, subscribe, and remember, you can't buy happiness, but you can buy more action figures. Figure Dude